Hi everyone. The stock market continues to show, some extreme strength overall in the overbought conditions. So what I wanted to show you is I removed some of the indicators so I can just show you my main oscillators that I follow. But we can look at the NASDAQ here and we can see MACD and TSV. It is at overbought levels on daily. And if you look at MACD, very, very overbought on daily. But when we look at a weekly here, you can see that technically, compared to like 2000 for instance, we are nowhere near overbought, and even if we look at this year, we're still, very moderately working off overbought conditions from early 2014, and everything looks good, including TSV. You can see that basically, as it's showing, this is actually it would technically be negative divergence, but I tell you what, all that matters is price. I would like volume to confirm, but whatever. But the fact that the market isn't as overbought as it is on a weekly compared to what it is as a daily shows me that that's some strength. To be this overbought on a daily but not be there on a weekly shows that this can continue these overbought conditions in the short term. So I wanted to show that on a NASDAQ. Also show you on the New York Stock Exchange, same thing. Once again, go way far back, MACD, show the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Boom, you look at that, way, way, way up there. Look at the Russell 2000, same thing, but once again on a weekly, you can see TSV and MACD, same thing with the New York Stock Exchange, the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So basically none of these indexes are really overbought on a weekly time frame. So we could still continue to rally despite these daily overbought conditions. Now the main thing that I wanted to show, let me go ahead and get rid of this, delete, add indicator, stochastics, okay, 20, 10, 10, yeah, we'll just do that. Okay, so it's going to be an ugly yellow red, but whatever. So you can see on the stochastics, if we look at it, we are back to those overbought levels, and as you can see, it's starting to roll below, or it's getting that rollover look to want to roll below this moving average line. So as you can see, we're getting very overbought there, and you can see what we look like at the lows here whenever we start a rally. That's whenever we cross. So technically that was your, oh yeah, we should continue to move higher, and we did, but we're starting to really kind of look like we're trying to roll over short term. NASDAQ, as you can see, has that kind of rollover-ish look to it. Russell 2000 has actually started. The red line is below its moving average, so further pullback would work there too. But as you can see here, once again, this index started to look good with stochastics right here at the very bottom. So this worked very well. So it should be noted that the Russell 2000 one is starting to roll back below. Has that happened before and it rallied? Yes, but overall probably won't pull back that much. It's more of a healthy consolidation, because when we look at the weekly 20-10-10 stochastics, you can see nowhere near overbought or even near the recent short-term overbought. The NASDAQ, similar situation. The NASDAQ 100, same thing, nowhere near overbought like it was. And the NYSE, look at it, continue to get less overbought. So it's pretty impressive that despite this, the market continues to go higher. Some say that that's negative divergence, but like I said, when we're so overbought short term on a weekly, I see that as a positive. So we do have some new long positions, but first let's go over some sells. Excuse me, there we go. Let's get back to what I like to look at. So on the sell side, we do have a couple of full sells I only gave to video members, but really who cares about these? They were tiny, and already both of them hit most of our sell stops. But CNET is a complete failure, 100% sell. CTHR, ouch, if that was any meaningful size, but clearly it wasn't, as our long signal was produced back here. Right there, we were cut out of almost all of it right here the very next day. Sell stops hit then further on the 23rd, and from there on we were just holding it till the rest of it now is giving a full sell signal, so that failed. But the ones that was giving to everybody that failed, which probably should not have as they were quality stocks, TEDU, Tarena International, rolling over. Like I said, one thing I didn't like about this stock is that mutual fund ownership fell from the previous period, and when you got some strong numbers, it always makes me curious. Why would less mutual funds want to own a stock with such strong financials? I didn't look any further, but it's always something to want to consider to look into. But TEDU has now failed, full sell. Half of my sell stops were already hit, but the rest of this needs to be sold. And TTM intraday sell stops were hit already after going long. It wasn't the best acting stock. As you can see here, we got a decent fill following the long signal, but still it just really couldn't go anywhere. Had some sell stops hit intraday, but now the rest of it needs to be sold off. TTM is failing its long signal, 100% sell. Also CPHD, I decided to go ahead and set some buy stops on this one just above the recent resistance. They trigger, but it pulled back yesterday, still closed higher, so I didn't sell off any, but it closed today, getting rid of half of the position. If it intraday goes below here, my sell stops will be hit, but if it goes below this day right here on a closing basis, we're out of CPHD. And then ALNY, very, 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 very disappointing. Didn't want to see this stock fail, but it's closing below the 10 and 20-day moving average on above average volume, erasing gains. So there's no big gains to keep it like a 25% sell or anything, just to see how it reacts following this. Now that we have losses, it's a 75% sell. The rest would be sold with a failure of those November lows. So new long positions, just to go ahead, some of the ones I'm passing on though that were good. CDW, you might want to do further research into this one. ZOES gave a great long signal, but earnings are coming up I think on the 20th. And then RTN gave a pocket pivot point breakout long signal. And then more speculative play GTIM. Would this have been interesting to me if volume was much, much larger and BOP was near max green? Yeah, absolutely. I'd actually poke some of this, but I'm not going to poke it. But it's a great breakout. I understand the restaurants are only in 3 states, probably going to continue to grow. So this is definitely a stock to look at longer term. I don't see how this one doesn't continue to move higher as they continue to grow. I mean, they're a very, very tiny corporation. Clearly, they're growing. So the new longs that I do have, the worst one of the bunch, by proxy, just because it's in my price volume BOP scan, is BLKB. Max Green BOP, big volume, huge support right here at the like kind of gap up breakout lows. Completely a great day where it opens near the lows and closes near the highs for that basically like an open bar pattern. But big volume, big BOP surge, like the way that this stock looks short term and then longer term overall with the bigger previous cut pattern going back to 2013. So that's a new long position. If it fails the low a day, really, that's how you know it's not working. But I would use the low a day 42.78 of this big move here where finally the volume and BOP surge with the price. The best long position overall for quality is FFIV. It's in my Cancelim stock scan and in a high price stock scan. Good breakout to new highs, and as you can see, very, very large, kind of like ascending base going back to 2011 to 2013, actually, because it's new lows. So what am I talking about? But 2013, kind of an ascending base as it tries to break out of this big 4-year consolidation pattern. So very, very potential big move if it can break out further here. But FFIV, that's a breakout to new highs, so new 52-week highs. So it is a long position with the pocket pivot point signal. Not risking much if it fails. All these lows can be used as your final sell stop areas. The best long for tonight overall for what I would like in a lower price, potentially bigger moving stock. COUP was an earnings winner that we were watching from the morning gap up here. It's followed in some low price momentum chat rooms and message board groups and Facebook user groups that I follow, Twitter. So COUP, it has consolidated great each session, very positive intraday action, lower volume. Now as it moves up above the recent resistance, it has a volume surge, and BOP stayed max green on the surge. Normally when in these breakouts we see BOP fall, which is weird because it used to not do that. Now maybe that it's no longer a QE environment, just low interest rate environment, maybe these will work now. So COUP is a new long position. 2.5% in all these because we are overbought. And none of the signals are great. The only great signal, like I keep telling you, that we got is EQM, and even that didn't explode higher on Friday, but BOP did surge and volume was above average, and another pocket pivot point signal. And overall, 2, 3, 4, 5-day chart, 6-day chart, all has pocket pivot point signals. All right, everyone. Have a great rest of your weekend and a great upcoming week. Aloha.